is very interesting.
So you better keep smiling.
Sherry. I'm part of the winner zone.
We're back.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Ajit, and
How
hello.
are you?
Ajit, you look so handsome today. Look at your top. You're looking so good. So hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of HR Interventions Season 2. I hope it's not too late to wish all of you a happy Diwali. We're back with I can't believe it, it's episode 10, Ajit. Can you believe it?
Yes.
Of HR TV. And I honestly call this the Diwali episode. See, we are all dressed up today. Ajit is looking so handsome. And as always, we're so excited and honored to have you all here with us. Today, we've got something in store for you. So, we're having a really interesting topic from an international speaker. So, today it's not a Malaysian speaker, it's someone from abroad. We're more than excited to bring him in. But before that, Ajit, can you please explain a little bit about our show, especially to our new audiences who just joined us today? Because we've had so many repeated ones coming back, but for the new ones.
Okay, for all those new ones who join us and those who have been with us for some time, this is HR Interventions, and this is commonly known as HR TV, and it's a talk show that brought to you by Compass Mind Asia, a well-known corporate training provider company that helps organizations grow expansionally through the award-winning and provide corporate training programs for any organization. So if you are in need of any training programs or any kind of intervention, be in touch with Compass Mind Asia. Okay, in this talk show, we actually interview all HR experts about things that are related to HR and career development. Okay, this season, we have spoken to a few people. Some of them is Grace Chan, who spoke a little bit about how to ace your HR, how to ace your talent development programs. And second, last 2 weeks back, we spoke to Su Yi from Tune Protect Group, who spoke about her essential traits of leadership. Okay. All these programs and episodes that we have done are available on Shireen's YouTube channel, Shireen Kelly, as you can see the link below. And please do go and subscribe and go and look at our programs. And there are a lot of things that you can also learn as well. Okay, basically this show is for everybody, irregardless whether you are a job seeker or you already have a job, or you are or a freelancer, or you're a training provider, or even you are employed, but focusing especially on HR related topics. That's why we call it HR TV. Okay.
Yay! And Kojit, we have got people coming in. Hi, Eliza. Happy Diwali to you too. Pritpa, happy Diwali. He says hello, lovely. So I know Kojit is looking very lovely today. And Dr. Usha, welcome from South Africa. Rus Najaa, welcome back. It's so nice to see you. Oh, former MP in the National Assembly, RSA. Wow. Such an honor to have you, Dr. Usha.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, we'd love to know who's watching, because somehow we are streaming from 3 platforms. And we've had audience from all parts of Malaysia and even around the world as well, right, Ajit? I mean, look, we have Dr. Usha from South Africa. We've had people from US, Myanmar, Australia, Dubai, Singapore. So we want to know where you're from. So please comment away. Let us know where you're from and who are you. Because if you don't say hello, just say hello. We'll know who is there. So a nice high will be nice. And before we dive in further into the topic, for those of you who don't know me, I am Shireen Kelly, Managing Director of Compass Mind Asia. And together with me is my handsome Ajit. Over to you, Ajit.
My name is Ajit. I am actually the HR APAC director for Flexis, and I am supporting Shireen to do this HR TV. I do this because I like HR and I enjoy talking about HR topics.
And you also enjoy being with Shireen. Thank you.
Yes, very much. Today I'm actually dressed because of Shireen. I hardly wear any Indian costume, but today, I'm in and I'm online with my Indian costume.
So proud of it. I mean, it's Diwali. It's
Yes.
celebration time. Over to you, Nina.
You're
Yeah,
back.
welcome again, everyone. To those who have just joined us, comment down below where you're from, and in fact, please say a nice hi to us because then we know you're there. If you're from the same time zone as us and you're having your lunch break, it is our lunch time. It's 1 o'clock here in Malaysia. Let us know what you're having because Ajit, have you eaten your lunch?
Oh, my lunch is here there. McDonald's is ready.
That
I'll
food.
have it later.
I always ask my kids, is that food? Oh my god! I know that's a fast snack when you have no time. So I know Ajit is a very busy guy. So there you go. Anyone else eating McDonald's? Share with us. Okay,
What are you
like
guys having for lunch?
yeah, what you're having for lunch and just a hello.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, we have an international speaker today. So I'm going to let you guess which part of the world is this person from. Maybe you can type in a chat box. Taking into account the season that we are in and it is Diwali. Diwali episode. This is a special Diwali episode. So if
Oh
you
my
can
God,
guess,
Shireen. You're giving it away so easily.
yeah. Let's see whether we have anyone who get that right. Okay, Eliza said I just had my lunch. I
Lunch.
packed food
Pet
from
food.
ZK
Is that,
restaurant. Mama
is that
food.
it?
Yum
Oh,
yum. Okay. So looks like nobody has answered us yet where our guest is from
guest
today.
speaker is from.
Mm. Anyway, I will give a little bit away, but he's going to talk on a very pronounced topic today, which is called leadership development and succession planning. Something a lot of organizations are talking about, but whether they're getting into it, that's a second question altogether. So this guy, this speaker of ours, is international speaker. He's been in the HR industry for more than 20 years with recent roles as head of HR of a huge engineering MNC. And currently, he's the vice president of HR of an oil and gas MNC based in Bangalore, India. So you got the answer already. He's from India. Please welcome Jagadish Reddy.
Thank you,
Hi,
Sherin.
Jagdish. How are you today?
Fine, Mr. Ajit. My pleasure to be part of this program and my
Okay.
pleasure to interact with your audiences across Malaysia. In fact, I love Malaysia. I stayed in Kuala Lumpur for 15 days during my
Oh,
stint with Light in Asia. I have been loitering around the Twin Towers, Petronas Towers, some time back. Now, I still wish to come and see those buildings.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're welcome back. And then thank you for joining us today. It's an honor to have you with us. Probably to start off, you would want to do an introduction about yourself to tell us a little bit more that we don't know about you.
Thank you, Ajit. Thank you, Sherin. I'm Jagdish Reddy. I'm basically from Bangalore. Hope you're all aware of Bangalore. Bangalore is the garden city of India and the most developing metropolis and an IT hub. So I have around 30 years of experience in human resources, particularly engineering, infrastructure, and urban infrastructure, ports, energies, data centers, and healthcare industry. So I have a complete uh, experience ranging from cements, metals, construction, engineering. Presently, in my latest tenure, I am with an oil and gas engineering project management company as a vice president HR based in Bangalore. And I love HR because I love interacting with the people. I understand how to develop them. I understand, identify their strength points and identify their weakness where we can able to develop them so that they can perform better. So I am here to share my experiences of how we handle certain critical assignments so that international audience will get benefit of my experience. So this is about me, Sherin and Ajit.
That's great.
Okay,
Any
thank you
special
very much.
hobbies do you have?
Thank you.
Any special hobbies, Jagadish?
I love bike riding, trekking,
Wow, bike as in
and
big bikes or bicycles or what?
no, bicycle as well as bike.
Wow, nice, nice, nice.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
also love reading books and philanthropy, helping
Okay.
people.
Okay,
Nice.
to our audience, there's Namaste. Lisa was going to guess it was India, and today we have got Jagdish ready with us, a very experienced person. So please do feel free to post any comments or any questions that you have in our chat box as well as we go along. Yeah, from
Yeah.
James Fong, we have got hello everybody, greetings from Penang.
All the way from Penang, where the char kway teow comes from. And hi to Vince. And Dr. Usha says, I'm honored to be part of this brilliant session. Good try, Eliza. Eventually, you got it. You wanted to say in
Right,
English.
correct.
Good try. All right. Let me just do a small introduction about this topic today. As we all know, the past 2 years has been about a very eventful year for all of us and has caused many large businesses and enterprises to plan for the future. You know, I mean, we always do plan for the future, but certain things happen that expedited a lot of organizations so that to avoid any stoppages and interruptions in business operations, this also includes succession planning, and I'm sure you agree with that. Succession planning are future proofing plans developed by businesses to pre identify employees, which Jagadish will share more about. He's got some good data to share with you guys, with the potential and capabilities to fill specific roles in the future. I mean, there's a lot of the older the baby boomers who are coming out of work and the younger generation coming in. So succession planning is actually so important. Despite that, actually, most large companies still struggle with succession planning, often ending up rushing them or undermining them. Either way it goes. Hence, what are the best ways to ensure a fail proof, or should I say foolproof, fail proof succession planning? Let's begin our first question, shall we, Jagadish and Ajit? Ajit, you
Yes,
ready?
yes,
I'm
yes.
ready.
Jagdish, are you ready,
Yay.
Jagdish?
I'm ready, Ajit. Willing
Okay,
to.
all good. All okay. Before we dive further, let's get the basic understanding first. Yeah, can you share with us how do you define succession planning?
Succession planning is basically identifying the critical jobs and critical roles in an organization and identifying high potential performers for immediate and anticipated contingencies, because in any organization there are people exits. If you don't have a step in successor, if you don't have a planning in order to fill a sudden exigency, because it will impact the business operation plans, it will impact the business. So succession planning is an assessment of identifying potential people with high performance and high interest, because importance is that people should also have the interest to develop their own self. So there are certain ways and means to identify the people with high potential and high performance and grooming them in an organization so that they're available as internal pool if there is an exigency happens, or if there is kind of an emergency, so that they will be there to step in immediately and take control of the organization and see that there is no interruption in the business activity. So succession planning is very important part of any organization where the people and processes are important. So succession planning is very important for organizations, so that there is no business discontinuation or any business interruption happens, because people are tend to move out. So this is why succession planning is very important for organization to fill the internal requirements. This is also way how we can take people with us and how we develop them, and we also can able to give them career planning for them, so that they can grow in the organization, so that it happens the building of the organization. So that's why I lay more importance on succession planning, Ajit.
Okay, very good. More focusing on critical talent, ready talent for organizations where they can jump in and take on roles. This is
Yes.
essential for continuation of the business. Okay,
Yes.
let's move on. How can HR facilitate and drive talent development and leadership development for succession planning?
Okay, there are every organization has a different way of developing succession planning, and in general, HR across organizations, there are certain ways of identifying people. So, in the organization where I am referring about my experience is that certainly the HR comes with a responsibility to see that the succession planning is always ready and always available. So first step in our way of identifying people is that what is their aspiration? Because unless people aspire to grow, unless people have ambition to take higher responsibilities, you can't take them. You can take a horse to a pond, but you can't make it drink.
Drink the
So
water.
people should have their own interest. People should have the passion to excel. So first is that we use a template called career development planning, career development discussion, using aspiration as the drive. So we record their entire what kind of a jobs roles they had performed in the organization, and what kind of a dream roles they wish to perform. So, what kind of new challenges they wish to encounter? So, in order to take larger responsibilities, what is there they lack? So, they identify the skill sets which they have, and they also identify the skill sets which they need to acquire. So, this is where called a career development discussion, where we record the HR with the support of the manager, record their ambition and aspiration. Plus, we also use certain psychometric testing through consultants to identify the potential, because certain people may not have the potential, even if you give them, even if they have aspiration, and even if you make them, but they may not have potential. So
Correct.
that's why we identify the people with potential. So using certain psychometric tools, role plays, and also assessment tools, so we derive a range of potential that is 1 to 4. So the why I am using the range 1 to 4, because the organization where I had worked, we have identified what are the core competencies of this organization, which people should have at different proficiency levels. So
Okay.
identifying the people at certain places, mapping them at the proficiency levels, the consultant has derived the range of 1 to 4, so that 3.49 and above, called as high potential candidate, they are ready to jump in to take responsibility, and between 2 and 3.48 is called medium potential candidate. So we identify the potential of the people. Then coming back, we also see the last 2 years or two cycles of performance assessment, how they perform in the assessment, because they have the goals, they have the mid-year reviews, despite that how they perform. So we identify the high performers. So we use metric 1 to 5, where 5 is the highest performer, called far exceeding expectations, and second one is exceeding expectation. So by combination of 2 years, one FWE, for exceeding expectation, plus one EE, we identify the people with high performer and medium performer. So using this, we plot them in a 9-box matrix. potential from low, medium, high on the y-axis, and performance low, medium, high on the x-axis. On the top, there is aspiration. So
Okay.
using this, we derive the performance potential matrix. So this is the way we used
And we
to,
map them in the 9 boxes.
yeah, 9 box matrix.
Okay, very good, very good. This is very useful information for everyone. Um, we have got Mr. Reddy with us, who got years of experience talking about succession planning. If you have any questions, feel free to bring it in our chat box. Before we continue to with our next question, we also would want the audience, please put in any questions that you have related to this. Okay, let's ask the audience a question. Do you think succession planning is important in your organization? Okay, so for those audience with us today, please do respond in the chat box. We will pick your answers up later and use it for our discussions. Okay, the question is, do you think succession planning is important in your organization, and why? Why is it important? Okay, so we can link it to our discussion later.
And if you have any questions, oh, Grace has a question. If you have any questions at all, put it into the chat box, and Mr. Jagadish will try to answer as many questions as possible. In fact, Grace has one question. I'm
Yeah.
from the nonprofit sector where lots of roles are held by volunteers. These are situations where volunteers whose terms are finishing were not willing to move on, creating barriers for succession planning. What can we do to encourage the volunteers whose terms are finishing to still feel valuable and have space to contribute while paving way for others to take on the leadership role? Also, meaning the older people who are already finishing, they just leave. So, how to encourage them to stay on and contribute at the same time, also do a succession planning in the organization. Do you have an answer for her, Grace?
Okay, it's a non-profit organization. They are volunteers. Of course, it may be a different industry. However, still we can identify those the high performers out of those volunteers. So we also can make them realize their potential for next higher roles. We can give them alternate. It's all depends upon how their aspiration. Unless they aspire, we can't do anything. Identifying an aspiration, identifying their real interest in doing projects, we can still place them in a different project when the time comes.
Okay, very good. We have got some answers for my question earlier from Dr. Usha. Of course, definitely. From
Yes.
Grace Tam, succession planning is vital for sustainability of organization. Well said. And a LinkedIn user, yes, it's very important for business sustainability as well as employee development. Okay, and finally from Dr. Usha again, South Africa has huge problem with ICT skills and other critical skills. How do we bridge the gaps? Okay, so we have some answered the question, and we have got another question for Jagdish Reddy.
Yes, are you talking about South Africa has huge problems with ICT
Yeah.
skills and other
Yes,
critical skills?
Mhm.
yes.
How do you bridge this gap? So may I know what is called ICT?
ICT
Information.
or IT, information technology.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yes, independent of the domain, the critical skill gap can be identified depending upon the organization we are referring to. What are the skill sets that the organization requires, which can be enabler for the organization to perform better? So comparing with the people with those skill sets, and if they don't have those skill sets and competencies, giving them so that they can be comparable, they can be compatible to the particular skill set of the organization. It's dependent on what is the business model of the organization, what are the enablers or the competitors on the competencies which are required to see the business performs better, and identifying the people with those competencies and giving them training so that they can be a good vital succession planning for the organization. Sure.
That's good
Yeah.
answer. Okay. LinkedIn user for your information is Mei Chin. Hi, Mei Chin. And Grace says Danya bad, which is thank you in Nepali language. So you answered her
Okay.
question just now. All right, let's move on with our questions, guys. But yeah, audiences, if you have any other questions, put it in the chat box, and Jagadish will be very very happy to answer whatever questions you have, especially when you are going through the succession planning in your organization and you have some questions because you are stuck. Ask those questions. He will have answers for you. So let's move on into a little bit more technical. Jagadish, what are the processes involved in succession planning? I know you prepared some really good slides for us. If you want to share those so the viewers can have some understanding. But as we go along, if we have any questions, some more from the audience, then we also answer those as you are through your slides. But
Sure.
a lot of his slides will answer a lot of your questions also. Would you like to share that, Jagadish?
Yeah,
So you can
sure, sure.
the process.
I'll just take 1 minute to explain them before
Yeah.
sharing. So the scope of my presentation is about what are the ways and means we used to identify the potential leaders for succession planning. So I have a few slides I'll share with them. You're able to see this?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, like you rightly said, it takes time to reach Malaysia. And yes, it just
Yeah,
appeared.
now we can see it.
Okay. Okay. I'll take through. This is introduction about the succession planning, the purpose.
Jagadish, you want to put it on PowerPoint mode?
Yeah, I'll present. Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Presentation mode, yeah.
So I just take back to previous slide. In order to identify the potential people, we used a phrase called organizational talent review, OTR, which derives the basic the fundamental characters, how we can able to develop the future leaders. One is aspiration, as I told, career development discussion along with aspiration is one of the derivative, and the second one is potential of the people. They are high potential or low potential, and second one is the performance indicator. For the last two consecutive performance appraisal cycle where they performed. So I'll take next slide. This is recording of their aspiration. You need to have aspiration, you need to have ambition to build your career. So the organization where I got experience, we recorded this in a structured engagement with the concerned employee along with their manager, what kind of roles they handled in the organization and what kind of roles they wish to handle. What is the dream in the organization? What is their aspiration? What kind of a skill they would like to know? So with all we have recorded, and with the help of the template, we identified what is their future dream role and what is the kind of skill sets they need to build on, either job rotation or job enlargement or job sculpting. Some of the methods we used to identify. When you go to next slide, we identify the potential, because potential in this context is the probability of a person to do a successful job in the role. So potential is derived from specific competencies, because we have identified certain competencies for the business I was referring to, and we compared the competencies so that the people can be mapped and potential range can be derived. So this has been done by an outside consultant using psychometric assessments, 360-degree appraisals, and so that the potential score of 1 to 4 has been derived. So 3.4 and above is classified as potential, high potential, and 2.2 and 3.39, between 2 and 3.39 are classified as medium potential. So we are not speaking about low potential. We are only considered high potential and medium potential. When come to next slide, the performance ranges, because we have seen the performance of those people during last two consecutive performance appraisal cycles. So we identified they are high performers or medium performances. So these are the classification. FWE means far exceeding expectation. In the scale of 1 to 5, they are 5, and double E exceeding expectation in the scale of 1 to 5, they are 4. So by combination of 5 and 4, 5 and 5, so we have derived their classification of performance as high performance or medium performance. So combining all these together on a 9-box matrix using performance and potential on X and Y axis, we have identified the people high performance, low potential, high performance, medium potential, and high performance, high potential. Also, we wanted to use inverted L shape so that we derive the high potential people and high performance people. Probably when you look at the last one, he got high potential, extreme right, role mismatch where I put it. The person is having high potential, but he's not able to deliver the performance. So there is a role mismatch. So in this way, we have identified the high potential, high performers with high aspiration. Then we put them in a career development dialogue, the talent review process. I told you the organizational talent review is annual exercise wherein we use this to identify the future leaders with high potential, high performance, and high aspiration. After identifying them, we send them to various ways like classroom learning or experiential learning or on the job training, mentoring, coaching. So various ways we use. So my presentation is confined of identifying the high potential people in an organization for the purpose of succession planning. So this is bit about this thing. So these are the advantages of succession planning. These are the advantages. Identification of future leaders, key successors for critical positions, step in and long term. Step in means immediately they are available to take the role. Long term means they can be available over a period of time, maybe 2 years. The benefit is risk mitigation of unexpected exits with readily available internal leaders. One of the advantage of succession planning is retaining high potential people with us so that they are a part of organization building, and suddenly also they can be deployed to mission critical projects, and by doing this the organization becomes robust, enhancing organizational capability and capacity to meet business needs. So this is about my presentation. Sharing.
Okay, very good. I think Jagdish has covered a very detailed process how succession planning happens, and
In
he
fact, I
also
have a question for Jagdish. You'll be
about
sharing the slides with us so we can share with our audiences
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, right?
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. I will share that with you, Sharing.
Okay, so guys, if
Okay.
it's a bit too small just now or a little bit too fast, those are very important information that Jagdish shared. We'll put it up on my face on LinkedIn tomorrow or by Friday. Then you can extract it from there.
Okay,
All
we
right.
have
Sorry,
comments
Ajit,
from
for disturbing.
No problem. We have comment from Abdul Manaf. My own experience was when a staff has got aspiration and good performance on the current job, but score badly on potential. So this is a comment from Mr. Manaf. This is his experience. Okay,
Yeah, he
and
used to
he
be
also have
in Dubai before working. He's a wonderful HR person with tons of experience too. Hi, Manaf.
okay.
Okay.
Do you provide for change in compensation when a staff is identified, and how is this managed in terms of equity? So this is a
Okay.
question from Abdul Manaf.
Can I respond, Ajit,
Yes.
for this?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Manaf, very good morning. My answer to the query you is that do you provide the changes in compensation when staff is identified? Yes, when the people identified as the high performers, when they have been selected for a future leaders, there is a system called band transition happens. they go to next band of the compensation. So when they are going to take higher responsibility, that comes with higher remuneration. It happens along with market price index. So this is the practice we use, using market price index for the particular role. They accentuate from particular band to next band. So when they go to next band, that comes with a responsibility, accountability, as well as higher remuneration. Yes, certainly the compensation will be given by way of reward. Hope you are clear, Mr. Ramanaf.
And how do you manage the internal equity in terms of equity?
Mm.
Okay, we always compare, we use a matrix called hiring fitment matrix called HFM. It's called HFM, hiring fitment matrix. We used to maintain the equilibrium in the organization, whereas we identify the people with certain skill sets, certain experiences, and what is the cost which they are coming from, and what is the cost we are paying in the organization with the similar skill sets. And then we compare also with the market price index. For example, for a quality control engineer in mechanical engineering with the 10 years of experience, how much market is paying, we get the market data, and we also compare internally how much we are paying. So when we hire a new people, we use this structure called hiring fitment matrix. So bring internal equity. In case where we are going to disturb apple cart, we don't hire, or we take the approval of the business CEO because there is a business risk. So the management will take decision to make any kind of deviation. However, otherwise, HR will always try to maintain internal equilibrium in making salary offerings.
Okay, thank you. Very
Right.
detailed answer.
Yeah.
So, for other audience, if you have got more questions, feel free to put at our chat. Then we can discuss about the questions as well.
I was
Okay.
googling on the hiring. How do I spell fitment matrix? Is it?
I should answer you, sharing.
Yes, of course.
Oh.
Is it hiring? How do I spell the
I will send you. It's called H for Hong Kong, F for France, and M for matrix. HFM.
Okay. All right. Ken, yeah, you send me more details later, then we can share on it also, because I'm sure this metrics is going to be so useful for people to also use
100%.
organizations.
100% useful. It avoids internal disturbance in the offerings, and it avoids all the grievances, because when you hire new people, the people come to understand what is the pay, then they start grievances. So this is the basic document during hiring stage, so that we prevent grievances from the beginning itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Abdul
thank you.
Manaf mentioned
Manaf has-
something.
Yeah, he
Only
added
issue
on.
for movement into the next band. You may not be paying for job size. What happens if he is pulled out of the SP? This is a never-ending problem. But point well noted, he says. So then,
Yeah, that's something very common. You put them into succession planning, you reward them. Then once they are no more the successor, you pull them out. Are you going to pull back the compensation back? So, it's always going to be a challenge for HR practitioners. Well noted,
correct.
Mr. Manoj.
Never-ending
It's a
problem, a never-ending story.
it's a business case to case we should deal. It
Yeah.
doesn't have a universal answer for that. It depends
Agreed.
upon the business exigency. It depends
Agreed.
upon how important the person is. Many times, yes, sometimes when we put people to special projects, we give them special reward. Once the project gets completed, he will back to the same band where he was being sent. It is business case.
Yeah, agreed. This is all business case and business situation, and what would the risk the business is willing to take. You're right. Okay,
Absolutely.
let's move on. Let's move to our next question. Okay, every company has got different approach for succession planning, and however, not all of them succeed. In your opinion, what are some of the reasons this succession planning fails?
Of course, it's a very, very much debated, yet still not derived answer. I certainly use my experience and wisdom to tell. Every organization and is having the same problem, because people perceive HR is driving their own agenda. people feel it is HR responsibility, but when the business crumbles, they blame it on HR. So the first thing is that for any person, for any organization to be successful, the stakeholders, the management must have a commitment for certain HR processes. They should they should support HR. They should have a commitment so that the HR can able to deliver. Some of the pitfalls why succession planning is not so successful in most of the organizations is that lack of commitment from the stakeholders and lack of support on the HR systems and giving more importance to business projects. For example, we start succession planning exercise. If the company gets a new business project, these things will be kept in a back burner. That's okay, it can wait. Business cannot wait. So they say. So this is the areas where the business management has to support because HR is a consistent 24/7 performance. It cannot stop because recruitment will happen 24/7. People need to be developed 24/7 because as we want to grow, we also want to learn. In organization which learn better, which can able to perform better, which can able to compete better, which can be successful in the organization. If I may allow to tell you, I can correlate with the balanced scorecard where people are the fulcrum, people are the foundation. You should have the better people, better talent. If you have the better systems, better processes, you get better results. The customer will be happy. When the customer will be happy, you get better businesses, better profits. Finally, the stakeholder will be very happy. So I always correlate as a balanced scorecard with the people first. So that's why I'm in HR profession.
Okay, thank you. Very insightful
Right.
answer. Very
Very,
detailed.
very good. In fact, Tracy Ann says very insightful. And Manav wishes happy Diwali to
Deepavali.
Jagadish,
Thank you.
Ajit, and myself. Thank you,
Thank you,
Manav.
Manav.
Jagadish, I've got more questions for you. Like you mentioned before, you and your team have personally encountered some challenges also during the process, right? Can you share with us what are some of the challenges that you have faced that others can also expect so that they can overcome it? And then to continue this question, how to overcome this kind of challenges?
Okay. I will relate or correlate my experience in one of the organization, which is a very large conglomerate. Uh, one of the reason that the stakeholders or the business executive should be able to devote some time to see that the process will get its logical conclusion. In order to conduct the talent review, they should give the time, they should give the resources, they should allow the people to perform. Because when you want to conduct any kind of training session or when you want to conduct this session, the people will be put on the projects. So first of all, the unequivocal commitment from the stakeholder is important. And in one of the case where we have encountered a challenge is that when we were about to conduct talent review, we have completed all the three phases of the talent requirement of talent review. That is, we got the career development discussion dialogue recorded, aspiration of the people identified, and potential has been identified through external consultant, and performance ratings have been taken. So we are going to go for the 9-box matrix. By the time the company got a new business project outside India, all the people have been shifted there, and we need to wait for one more year because they said this is a new project for us. We need to do it. So only when the business comes, HR comes later. So that is the most challenging thing we have waited for, and then we somehow convinced people to spare them some time so that we finished the balanced project and made the people who are potentially available. And incidentally, in the same international project, where one of the COO, Chief Operating Officer, has resigned, and incidentally, we have identified the person from here, we deployed them immediately. So they realized how important the succession planning is. So, so this is the encounter we encountered. We successfully mitigated, and we could able to place the person immediately. So as a step-in successor, so that the very necessity of every organization is to have step-in successors, because people are not permanent. Anything can happen. You need to see the business continuation plan. So succession planning is a part and parcel of business continuation plan, which insulates unwanted breakups in any organization. Fine.
Okay.
Great. Guys, audiences, if you guys are really learning a lot from this session, give Jagdish thumbs up, hearts, light bulbs. I see a lot of it coming in because I know you all are taking a lot back from this. So give
Thank
a lot of
you.
thumbs up to him. He's already ready to catch, you see? Bring it up.
I
Yeah.
am taking.
Thinking. Manav says again his own experience why succession planning fails. Wow, he's got 1, 2, 3, and 4 points.
Wow. Very
Make
good.
sure
Thank you,
that
Mana.
yeah, he's got a lot of experience too. Make sure the positions considered into succession planning are decided well and use a committee with valid criteria. That's one. Number two is as the succession planning process is a long one, must have the stamina to carry through. That's very true. Number three, decide the criteria that will be used in moving a person from each readiness level and get all stakeholders involved in making these decisions. And number four, have separate budget for development intervention. Uh,
I
Jagadish.
can. No, it's a very interesting question. Thank you, Manav. This is basically most senior HR people will encounter, or they would have encountered in one or the other organizations. Yes, budget is important because the organization have to allocate certain budgets. And yes, you said how a person can be moved from one stage to other stage. That's why I told the DNA of the succession planning is identification of the core competencies. What are the core competencies of the business you are in? Whichever may be the business, it could be IT, it could be engineering, it could be construction, or it could be airports. Identify, understand the core competencies that will enable the business to perform better, because HR has to enable the business perform better. The DNA of HR is to enable the performance of the business by enabling people to perform better. How you can able to enable people to perform better? By understanding what they are having, also understanding what they don't have. So giving them the strength, the skills, the competencies they need to have so that they can perform better. When they perform better, the business can perform better. So
Correct.
this is my single answer, Manav. Yes, budget has to be provided, and there should be definition and the clarity of where we are going and where we are landing. Out of all that, as you said, the management and stakeholder have to commit to these processes.
Very good, very good. Well said. I think we have got a lot of sharing on how to improve or how to ensure that succession planning does not fail. So this wonderful sharing by Jagdish and also by Manav. Thank you very much, Manav, for your comments as well. And let's move to our next question. Based on your experience, you have lots and lots of experience, what are some of the common mistakes done and the cause that causes succession planning to fail from your experience, Jagdish?
Uh, I can't say any mistakes. Yes, sometimes willingness of the people it changes, because we have seen the people have committed when they understand the propensity and intensity of the role. They said, oh, no, 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 that's okay, I will be happy, because people create comfort zones. They
Yeah.
don't move out of these things. So when the people move back, retract back, so again the succession planning will have an impact on that. And second one, again I reiterate, the fundamental reason for succession planning will not take forward or fail is because the lack of commitment from the stakeholders and lack of the process knowledge from the identifying people. So these are the three things which will disable sometimes succession planning. And business contingencies, because every organization will want to do business, more business. So they feel sometimes HR processes are not so important that can wait. So these are the setbacks which I have seen. Of course, HR folks should not get disheartened or by failure or something. It should continue. It happens continuously, and we should run it. That's all my advice to Manav.
Yeah, I guess obstacles are placed there so that we can be better. We can find better ways of doing things. Yeah, so
Yes.
that but you're sharing on those 3 points so that the succession planning does not fail is great for organizations to follow. And
Yes.
Jagadish, what's your advice to organizations that are still delaying themselves from doing succession planning? I mean, there are some out there, you said business comes first. So, what's your advice to them?
I take 1 minute extra to correlate with a real time incident. People will understand why it is required. In one of the organization where the Indian business CEO was not having any kind of a next level person, chief operating officer, and
Mhm.
everything is being done from out of India. And one fine morning, uh, there is a gap between what CEO is doing in India and what was expected to do uh, in the supporting of his role. The people below him were not performing. There are a lot of issues were there. And one fine morning, the business collapsed. The CEO has resigned, and they could not identify immediately a chief operating officer to step in and run the business without impact of annual operation plans. They struggled a lot. They brought a person from abroad for him to understand Indian requirements. It has taken, and I'm not naming the organization. Today, they completely closed the organization.
Oh
So they
gosh.
closed the organization. Yeah. So that is the status. So succession planning, irrespective of the size of the organization, you need to have, because the very purpose of the organization is to grow. You need to grow. You also need to make people to grow. Unless people grows, the company cannot grow. Any organization is not empty. It is made up of people. If you have a great people, the company becomes great.
Mm.
And how to make them great is the HR and business responsibility to enable them. So succession planning, if the companies are not having, I'm not sure about the present gig industry where you can able to hire the talent for 1 hour, 2 hours. How this is going to be, I'm still need to conjure up my thoughts. However, to have a structured business organization with a clear business vision and mission, they should have organogram, they should have immediate successor, and they also need to have long-term succession. By doing so, you are elevating people to take larger roles, you are building the organization, and you are building the people. So people, organization, process, all combined together, succession planning. That's all my say.
Wow, talking about the gig economy. I'm
Yes.
just wondering, putting in a COO, just to take over a 1 hour role. I'm wondering how that goes.
Good luck to you and the company then.
Good
I
luck.
know, man. I mean, I guess project base is possible, but really
Yeah.
to run at an operations level, a 1 hour job, that's questionable. So Manav
Hmm.
says, and finally, the high potentials are targets by the other organizations, which is very true, as they are by definition good performance and not aligning the compensation with SP may become fatal for organization. That's true. And then Melvin says, I face a challenge whether the CEO wants succession planning, but the HR did not give cooperation to make it quick and smooth. The head of company and HR together with the managers create a better ecosystem in succession planning. Tools and knowledge are necessary when implementing this project. Mm.
Yeah, this
Correct.
is very interesting. Where HR is not supporting, it should have been other way around.
Yeah, HR pushing it through.
Yeah, great.
Well, I,
Great
I,
fun.
I I guess in every organization, HR is also made of people, so it's based on the people, the person, whether they want to or they
Absolutely.
don't want to. Yeah. So, and then Grace said, are there any tips in bringing mindset change or giving motivation to leaders who think successes are threats? Oh, yeah, there's some of those too.
Yeah, I think very interesting question, Grace. Thank you. This is the prejudice exists in every organization. It starts from hiring. When you get a better candidate, you don't hire him. You get a little dull head because you feel you have an existential threat. So that starts there. So yes, to an extent, the organization also having this problem because the leaders don't want their jobs to be under threat. So if they develop successors, so there is a true, and the stakeholders need to take control of it because it's all human beings. They are not robots. Anything can happen at any time. So succession planning is a must. They can have a long-term successor in case if they want to stay in the company for 2 years. So they can take a long-term successor who will take 2 years to reach rather than immediate successor. So
Yeah.
give them some kind of benefit. So they handle it.
Mm.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think very good sharing from everyone, even the audience. Very good questions, very good comments posted. We Melvin, Grace, also from Manaf. Fantastic. I think we have came to the
Miss May. Yeah, a lot
yeah,
of support today. Yeah. Mm.
yeah. We have approached the end of our session for today, and we would like to thank Jagdish for this insightful session and also for this wonderful sharing, and also to stimulate a lot of thought process for the others as well. Okay, and this became a very serious discussion, and we are very happy to have this today. Before we end the session, we also would like to know if we or even the audience would like to reach out to you, Jagdish. How are we going to do this? Is it if you got any questions or if you got any thoughts or any comments or any feedback for you, or we want to chat with you a little bit more about this topic? How can we reach out to you?
I will send my mail ID. They can either approach through you
Okay.
or they can
You
send
have
directly to my mail ID. I'm willing
yeah.
to share my knowledge. I'm willing to help the people to perform
Okay,
better.
good. And you perhaps a LinkedIn? You have a LinkedIn account?
I have LinkedIn account. Yeah. They
Yeah,
can reach out to
yeah,
me.
yeah. That would be great. That
Excellent.
would be great.
Yeah, and I guess our back end will post up your LinkedIn address very soon. And once again, thanks so much for joining us today, Jagdish. We really appreciate it. And to our audiences, our next episode of HRTV will be on 16 November. Make sure you mark your schedule. And we're having another amazing guest, although it's not an international speaker like Jagdish, but he's also got a lot to share, like what Jagdish did today. And the topic will be on learning at the speed of business growth. If you're curious to know more, make sure you stay tuned to all Compass Mind social media pages for more information about it. We'll put up the links in the comment section below. Yeah. And if you're a HR leader and want to be a guest, please drop us a PM or even drop me a PM on LinkedIn or drop us an email at any time. And well, it's already October, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, organizations, are now planning for their next year's training. So if you are HR or an L&D manager and you're planning for your soft skill trainings for next year, well, you can drop all your related inquiries or to our email, which is training@compassmind.com. That will be training@compassmind.com. So we'll see you guys on our next episode of HR Intervention, serious discussion only. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Sheikh.